Do condo buildings in New York City require 20% down? We'll demystify this topic in the following video. I'm Nick at Houseit. We can save you money on your purchase here in New York City. Learn how by visiting houseit.com. That's Houseit with an A for Apple. So let's get started. So, do condo buildings require 20% down here in New York City? You might be asking this question because you've probably dipped your toes into co-ops, and you've probably found out that co-ops typically require a minimum of 20% down, even if your lender would allow you to finance more than 80%. So the answer is no. Condos do not across the board require a minimum of 20% down. And in fact, it's quite rare for any condo to have any sort of minimum with respect to the down payment. However, you might see something like 10%. But at the end of the day, you can put down less money in New York City on a condo versus a co-op. Co-op's almost always going to be 20% and up, sometimes 25%. Sometimes for these more prestigious buildings by the park, Fifth Avenue and so forth, it could even be 50% down minimum with additional requirements for things like post-closing liquidity. But for your typical condo building in New York City, you ordinarily do not have to put down 20%. That being said, remember that you are basically propositioning another person to buy their home, and that person has to agree to the terms that you put forward. So it's much more common to see 20% down here in New York City for many reasons. So if you're buying a condo and you submit an offer to a seller of that condo and it's 10% down, the seller might not feel comfortable. They might not accept your offer. They don't have any obligation to accept your offer if they're uncomfortable with the size of your down payment. So keep that in mind, especially in a competitive situation. If there's more than one person circling the property, and let's say they're all financing, they're all putting down 20% or more, you are going to be bottom of the list if you try to put down 10%. That being said, of course, remember that the competitive nature of real estate in New York City means that it's almost unheard of for people to put down less than 10%. Occasionally, we may see somebody trying to buy a house in Queens or something, put down a few percent, maybe get a seller's concession to help with closing costs. But that kind of a scenario is even less likely to come to fruition because the seller is going to be even more uncomfortable with such a low amount. So just to summarize, in New York City, condos do not across the board have a 20% down payment requirement, although most sellers are typically accustomed to seeing something around that level. Most of the time it's going to be around 10% minimum. But at the end of the day, it comes down to A, what your lender is comfortable with, B, what the seller is willing to accept, and C, what the building requires, if anything. The latter item you can check via your buyer's broker, requesting that information from the listing agent, or perhaps can go directly to the building's management to confirm that. And while they're at it, they can confirm several other things as well for a condo. For example, what is the application fee? What is the fee for subletting? So it would be a good idea, if you're buying a condo, to take this opportunity to learn a bit more about the overall fee structure of the building, because some condo buildings have pretty steep fees and others do not. So if you're buying an investment property, and obviously you're trying to solve for a certain yield, if you have to pay a $2,000 fee every time you find a tenant versus $500 fee, that does impact your returns over the long term. So we hope you found this video to be helpful. Remember, we can save you up to 2%, in some cases more, through a Houseit buyer closing credit, which we otherwise call it a buyer agent commission rebate. So visit our website, houseit.com, to learn more, and also check out our buyer closing cost calculator for New York City. It's very detailed. It will give you a great sense of what you're going to have to pay if you're buying a condo, because closing costs for condos in New York are quite high. So we hope to see you and perhaps work with you, and certainly would love to hear what you have to say in the comment field below this video. I'm Nick at Houseit, and we'll see you on the next one.